All right, we are live on YouTube, and today we're going to be discussing how to best handle your online presence. So stick around for all of that and much, much more that's coming right. Whoa! Live from Northern California, welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. And also make sure on your smartphone, your tablet, your iPhone, your Android, or anywhere that you have the YouTube app installed on, you must also make sure that the YouTube app is set to receive those notifications at a device level. When you do all of that, you're set to go. You're all good to go. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. Good morning to those of you everywhere in the U.S. besides the East Coast, where it is afternoon there. It is 12:11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 9:11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time in my neck of the woods. I'm in beautiful, sunny California, Northern California, San Mateo County, Redwood City to be exact. You know where I'm at. My name is Coach Eli, Elias Melas, and this is my real face, and this is exactly who I am. And I am out here on YouTube to help people, better sort out any things that they need help with sorting out in their lives regarding their business or personal needs, so that way you can accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. But along the way, you're going to be dealing with other people, and it does take other people to get ahead in life. It does take another person at least to have a relationship with. It does take other people to run a business with or sell your products to. And while you're in progress creating all of that for yourself, there are always going to be some very interesting people that are going to make it even more challenging for you than it normally is. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about, how social media affects people. How has social media benefited us in some ways to create this and make it easier, but in other ways, it has also been pretty crazy and detrimental. It's a blessing in disguise, but it's also something that, what's the right word I'm looking for? It is also something that, has, I can't even think of the word, but you know what I'm saying. It's a blessing in disguise. It's good in some ways, but other ways, it's made it easier for people to troll you per se, or try to hinder your success, right? Right. Okay. Oh man. Queen, go ahead and ban that account. Whoops, wrong live stream. Sorry. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Intentionally done. Anyway, there's another example of people you're going to deal with, and you just gotta get a good laugh and move forward with what you're trying to accomplish. All right, so before I get to this here today, I'm letting you folks know today I'm going to be dissecting another blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today. It's a very interesting read from an author and psychologist that I've read other blogs of his. His name is Glenn Gear, PhD. And the blog's going to be, the blog is titled 10 Adverse Effects of Social Media on the Modern World. And I really, really enjoyed reading this blog because I'm all about helping people get a better grip in their lives and helping them navigate through this crazy modern world that we all live in, this crazy modern, primarily digital world. And I try to help people better balance their digital life and their in-person life. No problem using the digital world to meet people and to set up appointments and dates and all that. But then once you get out there on a date or you're hanging out with friends and family and doing things in person rather than sitting at home on your smartphone or your laptop or desktop, you got to turn off, not turn off that phone, that digital device, right? But you got to minimize your usage of it. It's okay to check it every now and then in case you get an important text or anything like that. But if you go out and hang out with people and you're on your smartphone the entire time, then why are you really out there in the first place, right? And that's why my shows are called Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, because, that's what my purpose is here, folks. The modern world is a different world than it was in the past. Even 20 years ago or 30 years ago when the internet first came out, we did not have these smartphones. We started getting smartphones about 10 to 12 years ago. And so we did not have as many distractions nowadays as we did back then. So, I try to teach people to better balance their digital and actual lives. That's part of what I do here. And it affects, both aspects of life. It affects your business world and your dating world as well. So we'll get to the blog here in just a little bit. 10 adverse effects of social media on the modern world. This will probably take about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And as I get halfway through the blog, I will take a break in the middle, play some cool royalty-free YouTube music, and then come back and finish it up. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns along the way, please feel free to get those questions in the chat, and we'll be all good to go. Oh, I forgot to check the stream status here. Let's see. The notification did go out, and the stream health is excellent. All right. Okay, so let me check on and see who's in the chat, and then we're going to get right to this. And before I even get to the blog, I'm just going to share some of my personal experiences on social media. I know I've shared my YouTube experiences in the past, but I'm going to share other social media platforms that I got involved on before I got involved on YouTube about 3.5 years ago. But before we get to that, let's see who's in the chat here. Mutt Nuts World. Hey, Eli and everyone. Hey, Mutt, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Queen Helen Casey says, hello, Eli. Smash the like button for Eli. And she says, hello, Mutt. Mutt Nuts World says, hey, Queen. And that is that. Okay, so how to best handle your online presence. Has social media impacted our better decisions? One more time. How to best handle your online presence. Has social media impacted our better decisions? When did I first start getting really involved on social media? Now, platforms such as YouTube and Facebook have been around for around 15 to 17 years or so. Not even 20 years, folks. This whole social media thing is less than 20 years old. But I did not get onto social media right away. I got onto social media a few years after it started becoming popular. And I'll tell you why I didn't get on it right away. But first, Mutt Nuts World says, I am good just listening and editing videos for both my channels. All right, awesome. Great way to multitask. And thank you for being here again, Mutt. So when I became an entrepreneur 12, almost 13 years ago, I was not on social media yet. I believe I just had a LinkedIn profile, and that's about it. Everyone had a LinkedIn profile because LinkedIn, I believe, has been around for 20 years or so. And it's basically the new way of getting a job nowadays. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you're less likely to get a job. A lot of employers will look, for people on LinkedIn. And you can also apply for jobs out there. And on top of having a resume, employers look at that, even if you're not applying for jobs and they're trying to recruit you, because you're going to update your LinkedIn much more often than your actual resume. But a lot of companies nowadays don't even really care about having an actual paper resume or an attached resume. They just care about your LinkedIn. And so When I first got into, becoming an insurance broker and marketing my business through networking in person, joining the Chamber of Commerce, etc., going to networking events, mixing and mingling to meet other people, right, for business purposes. I was asked, are you on Facebook? And I'm like, no, I'm not on Facebook. They're like, why are you not on Facebook? Well, I'm more of an in-person kind of person. I'm not quite sure about this social media thing, blah, blah, blah. We should get on Facebook. All my business associates and friends are on Facebook. It's an easy and great way to keep in touch and to share referrals and all that kind of stuff, right? So I ended up getting on Facebook, and this was back, I think it was in 08 or something like that. 08, 09, something like that. So I've been on Facebook for around 12 years or so. And I really started to love Facebook. I enjoyed Facebook, and I would post everything on Facebook. I've always been a very transparent guy, where I've had nothing to hide. If I was in a relationship, I would share pictures of myself and my current girlfriend. I would, share family events. I would share everything out there because I started to connect with people that I got to know, like, and trust. Additionally, I put everything to public. Now, on Facebook, you have many settings. You can put everything to public. You can put certain posts or all posts to friends only, meaning only people that are Facebook friends with you can see your postings. Or you can select, a specific audience that you want to see to refine it even further. But because I'm an entrepreneur and I was trying to grow my business, I wanted to put everything public because I wanted everyone to see my postings, including people that were not connected with me, because, the more you put yourself out there, the more you publicly put yourself out there, the greater chance you have of connecting with new people that you could help in some way, or they might help you in some way. You could benefit each other in some way, right? Okay. But when you put all your stuff to public, okay. Before I even get to that, when smartphones came out a few years after that, and I got my first smartphone, Facebook started to do this check-in thing that I believe was only on, was it Foursquare? Not Foursquare. It was some other company that was doing check-ins, and then Facebook started doing it, and then Facebook became the king platform of checking in. And I really liked that because when I'd go to networking events, or I'd go out with a girlfriend or whoever I was going out with or wherever I was at, I would take a picture with my iPhone, and then I would check into Facebook. And it was a pretty cool way to keep in touch with people and share with them, what's going on, right? But here's the problem with that. I didn't realize that there could be a problem with putting everything to public. I didn't realize that until many years later when I came out here on YouTube and I put my face out here, my name, and, people can go out there and search for me. There are people that are not in the best place mentally and emotionally, right? They're jealous, insecure, and immature people. And they, instead of trying to better themselves, they project their insecurities onto you, and they do what's called trolling. And, initially they do some mild trolling, and if that doesn't affect you, then they start to attack things that mean the most to you. So what do? They go out there and search Google for your social media profiles and this and that, right? And what happened to me in those, 3.5 years ago on my former channel, a lot of these people found my public Facebook profile, and because everything was public, they could go out there and get my pictures and everything. And they started downloading these pictures. They started sharing my postings. They started putting all this stuff as YouTube content. So unfortunately, what I had to do at that point is lock everything down to friends only. I had also started connecting with many people out here on YouTube that I thought I could trust. And even after I put everything to private, some of those people that I thought were still, my friends and on good terms with, for some reason, they flipped on me and went to the hater side. And they were, because they still had access to my Facebook profile, since they were friends with me, even after I put everything to friends only, they were sharing that information with these other people. So my stuff was still being put out there. And it's not that, I'm afraid of my public stuff being out there. I just didn't want these people using my stuff as content, right? And then, you try to flag it down for copyright and this and that, and then, YouTube doesn't take it down. I mean, it's just a pain in the butt to deal with. So one thing that I've really done is lock down my social media. If you're on Facebook, folks, my suggestion is to, keep your settings to friends only when you put extremely private, not extremely private stuff, but if you're dating someone or if you're spending time with your family, all of that stuff should be friends only, in my opinion. As far as if you're posting things regarding your business, like when I post my YouTube videos and share my links to my YouTube streams and videos on Facebook, I put that stuff to public because, what can haters do with that? Share my public link to, my videos. So you just have to do a better job of locking down your social media. And you got to understand, folks, that there are people out there that are going to try to hinder your success. And if you let them get to you and you don't protect yourself enough, it will affect you. And I'll be honest, the first 3.5 years of being a YouTube content creator out here, and trying to run my coaching business and move forward, it's been more of a learning experience. I mean, have I gained some traction? Sure. But has my traction been hindered because of the way I handled the trolls and the haters, or, because I didn't, take certain precautionary measures? It has affected me, but I've learned how to handle that. And now that I've learned how to handle that, I am moving further in the right direction. And at the same time, I can help you folks learn from my mistakes. So that way, if you want to come out here and be a YouTuber or use any social media to grow your own business, okay, you're going to be able to deal with this and prepare for it a lot better than I did. So that way, you don't in essence waste 3.5 years figuring this out before you can move forward, right? Now, I'm not saying I wasted 3.5 years, but I had to learn this stuff. Nobody told me about trolls and haters. Nobody told me that people will attack, your public Facebook profile and anything they can find on you just to make content out of it. So, you just gotta be careful out there. So, that's one story that I wanted to share. I mean, am I still on Facebook? Yes. Am I as active on Facebook as I used to be? No. And I get a lot of it has to do with the fact that I'm on YouTube using my real name and my face, and whatever I put out there publicly that is noteworthy enough for the trolls to make content on, they're going to do that. So, folks, you just got to take that into consideration before you put stuff out there. And one thing I always have said to everyone out there, one thing I've always said is that on social media, whether it's private, friends only, or public, or whatever, right? Whatever setting you have, don't put anything out there that you don't want the whole world to see. Do not put anything out there that you don't want the whole world to see. A lot of people say, well, I just shared this with friends only. Well, what if one of your friends turns on you? What if somebody, finds out who your Facebook friends are and they reach out to you and then they ask you for certain pictures, right? If you put something out there, even to your friends only, that you wouldn't want the whole world to see, you never know who the leak's going to be. You've got to take all of that into consideration and protect yourself as best as possible. So again, don't put anything out there on social media that you wouldn't want the whole world to see. Okay. So with that being said, let me see here. Queen says, not me. What do you mean by that, Queen? You're not on Facebook? It's all right. It's all good. All right. So the chat's all caught up. Let's go ahead and start going through this blog because there are 10 aspects. I'm going to go through the first 5. And then I'm going to take a short break before I finish up the last 5. By the way, folks, those of you that have been following me for a little while, my pinched nerve has gotten a lot better. It's about 70, 75, maybe almost 80% healed. I feel a lot better. I've been doing some more stretches, and my pins and needles feeling in my hands and in my feet has been greatly reduced by about 70, 75, 80%. So, I'm thinking within the next week or two, I'll be fully healed and just feel even better. If you can't tell, I feel a lot more energetic today than I've felt in quite some time. So that's just an update for those of you out there that have been following me for a while and not really care about my well-being as much as I care about yours. Okay, so let's see. Queen Helen K says, no, not that. I don't have LinkedIn. Okay. Excuse me a second. And Mutt Nuts World says, I am on Facebook, but very rarely post personal stuff on there. Mostly just post my YouTube stuff. Do you have your stuff set to friends only, Mutt, or do you have some stuff on public, or do you just kind of pick and choose what you put as friends only and public? Just curious to know. So while you respond to that, let me go ahead and switch over to the browser source, and let's get into today's blog, which is once again written by someone I've read a blog on in the past from the same site, Psychology Today, Glenn Gear, PhD, with Darwin's Subterranean World. And the blog is titled 10 Adverse Effects of Social Media on the Modern World. One more time, 10 Adverse Effects of Social Media on the Modern World. And right below, he says, the social media problem. And this was posted very recently, earlier on this year, a few months ago, back on February 26th of 2020. All right, so let's get to it. If you follow my work, see, for instance, my new book, Positive Evolutionary Psychology. I'm going to check that out, Doc. Then you know that although I'm completely addicted to my cell phone and to Facebook, I used to be. There, I said it. I'm extremely concerned about modern technologies such as social media and the effects that such technologies are having on our world. I am as well. Now, I mentioned part of the concern, which is, being trolled and, being attacked by, for example, people out here on YouTube. If you're a YouTuber and you have a Facebook and it's public, they're going to, go there and get that information, and they're going to create content off of you. So, that's one aspect there. But another aspect, regarding social media and the internet is that, people are more so communicating through social media. They're not talking on the phone or getting together in person as much. So I think that is affecting people from going out there and, acquiring the necessary social skills I feel people need to have to get through their life in the best ways possible. But that's just my opinion. Let's continue and see what the doc further has to say. As an evolutionary psychologist, or as someone who looks at questions of human behavior in terms of principles of evolution, I'm particularly concerned about what we call evolutionary mismatch as it relates to social media. Evolutionary mismatch exists when something in the modern environment of an organism is mismatched from the ancestral conditions that surrounded the evolution of that organism. I think, in other words, what the blog author is trying to say is that this modern world's been consumed by the social media on the digital side of things, and we are losing focus on in-person socialization. So I think it's affecting people's real social skills. There are people that can hide behind the computer or the smartphone and be outgoing people, right? But when they get together in person, they're shy, they don't know how to behave, or, they're awkward, they're socially awkward, right? So that's what I feel the blog author is saying there. And what I try to help people balance out is, their time spent on social media and then time spent with people in person. And if you use social media properly, for example, if you use Facebook or a dating app or something like that, you can use those apps to communicate with people, to meet people. But once you get to know them, then, take it to the phone and then take it in person and make something out of it. If you don't make something out of it, Do you want to define and live your life stuck, in your home or apartment all day, every day on a smartphone or a computer? Or do you want to have a real life and spend time around real people, right? I mean, that's what we call a hermit, someone that, stays at home all day, and does nothing besides, troll around social media, right? And a lot of people have created these, online romances that never, happen in real life in person, right? What's that going to do for you? People having these online romances through messenger programs or social media or, dating apps and stuff. And then they never actually meet in person, but, they talk all the time through these apps and maybe occasionally on the phone as well, right? But if you don't take that in person, I mean, is that really fulfilling you and satisfying you? It doesn't for me. But anyway, so, excuse me. In so many ways, social media platforms such as Instagram, Snapchat has this thing called Snap Streaks. And I remember, my ex-girlfriend Dana, her daughters were both on Snapchat. And they would always make sure that if they were not able to maintain their Snap Streak with their friends, like that someone else could do it for them, right? It's like, okay, so you're consumed with Snapchat and having at least one message sent with everyone on Snapchat so you can keep that streak going of like 900 days or 500 days or whatever, right? And what these young kids don't realize is that the longer they keep that streak going, the longer they are on that platform, they're making that platform more money. It's brilliant marketing by Snapchat, but is it the healthiest thing to have to focus every day? Oh, I got to keep my Snap Streak going on Snapchat. Okay. So in so many ways, social media platforms such as Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook are mismatched from the kinds of communication platforms that existed for the lion's share of human evolutionary history. For more than 99% of our evolutionary history, face-to-face communication with individuals whom you knew well was pretty much it. Social media has changed all that, and as you'll see below, not necessarily for the better. So in real life, outside of YouTube, outside of social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever social media platform you use, okay, you didn't have the reach that you have now on social media, which is a global reach. You had the reach of people within your community, within a certain radius of where you live. The way you met people was, through social events or playing sports or going to school or going to church, right? So that was the way that you would meet people. And so, you were somewhat limited to how many people you were able to connect with. So it was a lot easier. It was a lot more intimate. There wasn't as much competition, right? But now with social media, since it's become a global phenomenon, there are so many options out there. The options have like quadrupled, right? That it's really hard to focus on even one other person nowadays. And that's another issue. I'll get to that as we go through the 10 ways that life is now worse because of social media, as we'll get to that here in just a second. So using this evolutionary mismatch framework, the list below focuses on adverse consequences of cell phone technology and social media in our modern worlds. So, for example, this damn thing here, the iPhone, I'll be getting my new iPhone in September when the 12 is released. Can you believe I still have the iPhone 6 Plus with the same original battery? It still has 81% of its battery capacity, and it still works as great as the first day. So, wow, I got to say I'm pretty impressed at how much usage I've gotten on this phone. And look, you see the screen is still nice and shiny. It's not cracked, unlike some other people that I've seen show a cracked screen. on their phone. So it's amazing how long this phone has lasted. Only problem is it only has 1 gig of RAM, but it's a phone that's what, like 5 years old or something like that, right? But yeah, so the cell phones have definitely changed the way we communicate, and I think they've not only consumed us, they've overly consumed us with so much information and so many things coming at us that it makes it very difficult for most people to focus on 1 or 2 things so they can actually accomplish something, especially in the dating world. With these dating apps, like, and this more so happens for women. Women get more attention than men. It's just the way it is, right? Women will get 10 times as many messages, right? If you're a dude and you message a woman on a dating app or a dating site, right? But they call them dating apps now because people more so use Match.com, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, Tinder, etc. on their phones, right? Okay. If you message a woman, she's getting like 100 other messages. And even if she responds to you and she arranges a time to have a phone call with you, there is a great chance she's going to flake out on you. Maybe not necessarily because she wants to, but because she's got so many other options and she's kind of throwing, she's kind of giving everyone a chance, because if one doesn't work out, she'll fall back on another, right? It's very difficult because of the way things are digitally for people to focus on one thing to make it as best as possible. That's what cell phone technology and smartphones have done. And social media in our modern worlds. Yeah, the list below focuses on adverse consequences of cell phone technology and social media in our modern worlds. All right, so what we're going to do is go through the 10 ways that life is now worse because of social media. And it is. I'm not saying it's totally worse. It's gotten better in some ways, but in many ways it's gotten worse, right? There's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So I'm going to go through the first 5 here, then take a quick break, and then go through the last 5. And if you have any questions in between, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Let's see. Nuts World says, I am on Facebook, but very rarely post personal stuff on there. Mostly just post my YouTube stuff. Okay, good. You put that stuff publicly? The YouTube stuff, put public. The other stuff, I'd put to friends only. Like the more personal dating stuff and family stuff, that's my suggestion. I used to think otherwise. I said put everything public in the past. Because if you're real, hey, you're just being yourself. But when I came onto YouTube and these people started using my public information on Facebook for content and they were making money off of it, I'm like, screw this. I'm locking it down. It's just the way it goes. Let's see. Queen Helen Case says, my Facebook is set to friends only. Good for you, Queen. Good for you. All right. So let's start this off here. Okay. Number 1. People can be nasty behind the scenes, or behind scenes, or screens. Sorry. Oh my God. I'm not even reading this properly. I'm just thinking about the behind the scenes aspect of YouTube that I've always talked about. Let me start this over again. Number 1, people can be nasty behind screens, meaning computer screens. When our identities are downplayed or hidden, there is less motivation to be kind to others. And all the research in the field of social psychology on this point is clear. When people are de-individuated, meaning, I guess, taken away from being individuals, is that what that means? That's what I assume it means. That's some fancy psychological word or psychology word. They are way more likely to be nasty to others. Modern day social media includes more de-individuated communication than has ever existed in the history of the human species. Now, I'm going to take that with no shame and put it into Google. You're not going to be able to see that. and I'm going to read the definition of de-individuation, is a concept in social psychology that is generally thought of as the loss of self-awareness in groups, although this is a matter of contention, resistance. Sociologists also study the phenomenon of de-individuation, but the level of analysis is somewhat different. So it's a loss of self-awareness. And being self-aware is very, very critical. Okay, I get it. So yeah, people can be nasty, behind the screen, right? Whether it's on your smartphone, laptop, desktop, right? And a lot of people on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and other platforms are able to create multiple accounts, fake accounts that don't identify them. They also use what are called VPNs, virtual private networks, so that way you can't even trace their IP if you want to report them to the authorities. And they do that because they just want to project their insecurities onto other people. These people have nothing going for them for whatever reason. And instead of working on themselves to better themselves, they troll the internet and they get a rise out of getting a reaction from good people like myself, right? So you just have to learn to understand why these people do it, and you just have to ignore it and move forward. But the internet has allowed for people to basically be nasty and hide in plain sight while doing it. Like, look, I don't care if someone is going to come at me and challenge me, right? But if someone's going to come at me and challenge me, and I don't see your face or know your actual name, and if you're going to challenge me and attack me with a fake name and not showing your face and just using the avatar on YouTube, how can I respect that? That means you can come at me and attack me, fearing no repercussion of anything, right? So that's pretty sad. That's what these people do. So yeah, you just got to learn how to identify that and move past it. But yeah, the doc's right. People are very nasty behind screens. If you met these same people outside of social media, I bet you they would be much more decent people. Most of them. I'm not going to say all of them, but most of them. All right, number 2. Social media creates unhealthy social echo chambers. The westernized world is more polarized than ever these days. This is not just lip service. Solid research on political polarization has shown that this is truly the case. Things are getting more polarized with time. Yeah, they are. They are. Social media fuels this, absolutely, because people can come out here and pretend to be somebody else or hide in plain sight. Or even if they use their real name or face, what are the chances of you meeting these people in person, right? If you identify as liberal, which I do, slight left, not extreme, just slight left, you likely belong to a broad array of liberal-focused Facebook groups that provide extraordinary levels of social validation for your beliefs. I actually don't. And to be quite frank with you, I think people that belong to those groups are not open to hearing both sides. You see, most people are like that. Most people will say, I'm a liberal and I want nothing to do with conservatives, right? And most conservatives say, I'm a conservative. I want nothing to do with a liberal sack of you-know-what, right? That's not how I look at it. And those aren't the types of people that I associate with. I associate with people that are open to hearing both sides, that don't judge people based on their political party preference, that are open to a discussion even if there's a disagreement, because we could both learn from each other, right? So I don't join those liberal-focused Facebook groups looking for validation. I have my own beliefs. I don't project my own beliefs to other people. I share, what I believe in, what I feel works and what's right. But then I also ask people, whether they're on the left or right, what works for you? Is this something that works for you? And if not, curious to know why or why not, and what would work for you? What are you open to, right? I like to have a nice, friendly back and forth dialogue, even with people that aren't liberal. In my case, since I am a slight left liberal. Queen Helen Casey, one of my top mods here, the head moderator, is slightly to the right. She's conservative, but we get along. And we actually agree on a lot of things, but some things that we disagree on, we respectfully disagree. Why can't more people be like that? The world would be a better place, wouldn't it? And if you consider yourself conservative, you likely belong to a host of social media groups that validate and amplify your beliefs. There are a lot of people like that on the left and right that belong to these groups where they're strictly liberal and they're strictly conservative. And these people, want nothing to do with the other side. So what does that do? Instead of creating unity, it creates division, right? Should there be division amongst liberals and conservatives? Maybe that's a stream I'll do, but it'll probably get demonetized, so I probably won't do it. That's the sad thing. You talk about these things, right? And then your videos get demonetized simply for saying, is there a division between liberals and conservatives? Should there be? Or should we unite and, share ideas and work together to create better good? All right. Social media has the capacity to create large-scale echo chambers. It does. And a lot of these people on social media that are a part of these echo chambers are very emotionally disturbed and distraught people. So basically, all they're doing when they're going out there is projecting their insecurities. They're not even making sense with the things they say half the time. They're just there because they want to be noticed. They want attention. And maybe they have a miserable life. So they're just kind of ranting and raving for no reason. Adding unwittingly to the growing political polarization that is tearing our world apart as I type. And that's exactly how I feel, Doc. I honestly feel we have a separation between liberals and conservatives. And it shouldn't be that way. If our country, especially here in the U.S. where I'm at, is divided in half because of liberal and conservative views, then, when we say in liberty and justice for all, what does that really mean? In liberty and justice for all. Why even have these parties? Why even have these parties if it creates more division than unity? Ask yourself that. I agree, Doc. We're on the same page so far. Number 3, social media is not for the impulsive at heart. You can say that again. Think about all the impulsive tweets or social media posts that have led people to get into all kinds of hot water. Doc, I'm a nice, decent, outgoing guy just looking to help people out here. These people have attacked me, and it's gotten me in the hot water for being a normal, genuine, generous, helpful, and caring person. For me, it's been the more kind, caring, loyal, loving, and considerate I am, the more heat I get for that, because people say, oh, you seem too good to be true. Oh, you're a phony. Oh, you're putting up a front. This is not the real you. People really aren't like this. You're just trying to make money. Well, I am trying to make money. It's a business. But I'm also here to truly help people. And if you haven't noticed, I already give most of everything away for free. And if you folks are getting value, you can donate. Nightbot's sharing my link every 7 minutes or so. You can also use a super chat or super sticker, in the chat down below. You can also cash at me at $, the real Coach Eli. $, capital THE, capital REAL, capital COACH, capital ELI. $, the real Coach Eli. In 2018, Roseanne Barr put out a highly questionable and impulsive middle-of-the-night tweet that got her into such hot water that her TV series got canceled. I think that was BS. So if you're going to have a TV series or, work in Hollywood, for example, you basically have to conform your life to the company that has your contract. In essence, they're controlling you, right? And I could never be controlled in that way, which is why I'm happy that I am self-employed and the only person that can fire me is me. The only thing I have to worry about out here on YouTube is following their terms and conditions and their guidelines, which I do. But if I have an opinion to state and a bunch of people don't like it, but a bunch of people do, I don't have to worry about getting fired. I'm not going to fire myself, right? And if you follow the news, you know that this is not an isolated incident. It's not. And I think it's BS, to be honest with you. Indeed, these days, people are regularly getting into hot water at work, with family, with friends, as a result of impulsive social media behavior. Here's the thing. People are tired of being suppressed, and they're tired of having to kiss ass because they're working for someone else, right? Problem is, when someone else is paying you and you have a contract, right? That contract is a control mechanism. And that contract, in many cases, can and will control what you can and can't say out of your, acting profession, in Roseanne's case, for example, right? I can never be controlled in that way, where someone else controls what I can and can't speak on. If I believe in something, I'm going to speak about it. But I will say one thing, regardless of what I speak on, I will speak about it in the most professional ways possible. I don't speak on things to attack people. I speak on things that I feel passionate about. Okay. So let's see. Under ancestral conditions, people were not able to broadcast any thought they had at any time of the entire world. Now on YouTube, you can, as long as you follow the guidelines. And same thing with other social media sites. If you want even more flexibility, you can create your own website and add a blog to it. And at that point, you're pretty much immune, because it's your own thing, right? You don't have to follow anyone else's rules unless your web hosting provider has certain rules. But web hosting providers are typically never going to take you down, and people are not going to go through the trouble it takes to find out how to take someone down in that way. It's possible, but it's highly unlikely. Things on this front have changed, and not necessarily for the better. I mean, there are some people, Doc, that are impulsive with their social media postings, and out here on YouTube, there are some, creators that are impulsive with the content they put out. But I think more so, what I'm concerned about is people that have an actual message to put out there. They actually believe in something, which may be a little controversial, but they believe in it with the right intentions, and they fear putting it out there because, for example, let's say they work for corporate America, right? They work for somebody else, and they fear that if, their corporation sees this, that, it may affect their jobs. You see, that's another control mechanism there, which is why I will never, ever work for the corporate world again, ever. Because I want to be in full control of my journey and my destiny and what I can and can't say and what I can and can't create. And when you're working for other people, you're working with their rules, through their rules, and it limits you. That's why I tell people, one of the best things you can do is, transition to becoming a self-employed entrepreneur. And if you're working for somebody else, start doing something else part-time right now that you enjoy doing. Start a YouTube channel, right? And, grow it, get it monetized, and work at it part-time. You may still have to work your day job for 1 or 2 years, but if you are consistent at doing your secondary entrepreneurial thing, no matter what it is, for a year or two, you're eventually going to more than likely start making some money and eventually replace your income. And then you can leave and do the entrepreneurial thing full time. And at that point, you will be in full control of your own destiny. When you work for other people, you are never in full control of your own destiny. Plus, being an entrepreneur, I can take any time I want off. I can take a vacation anytime I want to take a vacation. I don't have to tell anybody. I just do it, right? And, I make my clients aware and I make people aware when I'm leaving so I don't leave people high and dry. That's all you do. Pretty cut and dry there. All right, so we're going to go through a couple more here and then take a break. Queen Helen Case says, I don't argue with you at all. No, you don't, Queen. We've never had an argument. We've had discussions, right? We have discussions, and I've learned a lot from you. Hopefully you learned some things from me. I mean, we're good friends, and we get along. I've learned a lot watching you on Twitter. Boy, oh boy. Oh, Queen, man. Queen, I'm kind of like, I'm not saying I'm afraid to respond to your Twitter stuff, but I've got enough things I'm still dealing with behind the scenes right now. So before I start responding to some of your tweets and start getting involved in those, I just want to handle my other stuff because, it's pretty interesting. I do want to get involved, but I'm holding off for right now. But good stuff. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good fight. All right, number 4. Infidelity rates have increased due to social media. Oh, yeah, and dating apps too. Infidelity rates have increased due to social media. I think due to the entire internet. While cell phones may help us communicate and share more regularly with our romantic partners, and thus may have some relationship benefits, current research shows that social media is playing a huge role in increasing the prevalence of infidelity, which is made increasingly easier and more tempting than ever thanks to social media, especially dating apps and apps like, Adult Friend Finder, right? And what are the other ones? Ashley Madison, Have an Affair, right? There's a site out there that is made for people that want to have an affair. You got to be kidding. And it makes a lot of money. It is so easy to communicate with people through your smartphone behind your partner's back. And in most cases, they'll never know about it. Now, some people are very careless when they do. I don't suggest doing it. I've never been that way, but I know of people that have been that way. I don't suggest doing it, but hey, if you're the kind of person that's going to mess around on your partner and you're using your phone to do it, at least be inconspicuous about it and cover your tracks. And don't leave your phone laying around unlocked to the point of where your partner can go there and check on your phone and then boom, right? But again, I wouldn't do it in the first place, but these phones have made it extremely easy for infidelity. And it happens all the time. All the time. For an eye-opening expose of this issue, check out this report put out by National Marriage Project summarized in this article in the National Review by the study authors Betsy Van Denberg, Jeffrey P. Dew, and Bradford Wilcox. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and share this blog link in the chat in case you want to check it out and click on these links. So the blog link is right there. All right, give me just 1 second here. God, my nose is itching today. I got to take a break and really itch it good. The itch is for good luck. All right. From an evolutionary perspective, infidelity is a major threat to the welfare of any intimate relationship. Of course it is. And if you're happy with someone and you enjoy their company, why would you have to look elsewhere? People that are looking to cheat are not just doing it because, the temptation, is there because there are more options. They're doing it because there's something lacking in their current relationship. Well, for me, folks, if I'm not happy being with someone, I'm going to tell them, and I'm not going to be with them anymore. And vice versa, I would expect the same thing. Why do we have to cheat on our partners if we're not happy on them or about them? And why don't we just break up with them first? Well, a lot of people are selfish. They want to have someone to fall back on, right? Maybe they're emotionally attached to their partner, and maybe they enjoy their company, but maybe their partner gained weight and they're not as sexual as they've been before or in the past. And so the missing element is the intimacy, the sex. So they go elsewhere to get that. They get fulfilled elsewhere, and then they come back to their partner for the emotional stuff and the companionship and all of that. But when the sex is lacking there, at some point, the other partner, your main partner, is going to notice that and call you out, or try to get into your phone and find out what's really going on. Why put yourself in that position? But social media and smartphones and all that have put us in that position. It's made it a lot easier to cheat. It has. I think I read this, but I'll read it again. And social media platforms and cell phone technology have increased this threat to relationships everywhere significantly. Oh, yeah. Again, it's hard to even get a woman's attention today or keep a woman's attention today on a dating app, even if she's given you her number. I'll say this again, as I did on a stream a few weeks ago. I had an issue where, I gave a woman my number and she gave me her number. We had planned to talk, and basically she was going out with friends, and she, came, and she said she'd be back by 10 or 11 o'clock, and she would text me and we'd talk before she'd go to bed. She never got back to me. The next day, she never got back to me. And I reached out to her, and she made some lame excuse. I won't get into it again. But the same thing just happened again to me last few days. It's a pattern. I've been talking with this woman. She said she's free to talk over the weekend. I said, okay. We were texting yesterday. I said, hey, when are you free? She goes, I'm free anytime except for Saturday afternoon. All right. So that means you're free Friday evening, which is the start of the weekend, and you're free Saturday morning, and you're free Saturday evening, and all day Sunday. The only time you're not free, I'm thinking in my head, is Saturday afternoon, because that's what she told me, right? So I said, let's talk at 10 o'clock tonight. What time do you go to bed? She goes, around midnight or a little after that. Let's talk at 10 p.m. Okay. She said, okay, no problem. I am going out, with a friend for a socially distancing type of dinner. And I should be back by 10 o'clock. I'll text you when I get back. She never texted me. She still hasn't texted me to this moment here. And it's 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. And I've decided with this one, I'm not going to text her back. If she doesn't text me to set up a phone call, and if she doesn't apologize to me on that phone call for not, at least making me aware, then I won't talk with her anymore. And I know we're just getting to know each other, but the bottom line is that's disrespectful. If you put yourself out on a dating site and you're communicating with someone and you've exchanged numbers, that's the next step. If you don't want to talk with me, or if you've got some other dude that you're already going on a date with, at least say, hey, look, I'm talking to some other dude. You seem to be a good guy. I don't want to lead you on, but I want to see where this goes. If it happens to not work out, and you're still single, would you mind if I reach out to you? Cool. I can respect that because you're being honest. What I don't like it is what most women do is they'll juggle 5 guys at once, even the ones that say they're nice women. So it happened again. It's a pattern, folks, and it's not me. And I'm not angry, bitter, or jaded. It's just exactly what the doctor says here in this blog article. And this doesn't even involve infidelity, because this even, this is at a point where you're just getting to know someone. People are very inconsistent. They're very inconsistent. And they don't have the patience or the tenacity to focus on one person. They don't. Yet they say they want a relationship. Okay. All right. No worries. It is what it is. All right, let's go to number 5, and then we'll take our first break here. We've been on for exactly 1 hour. Social media. Number 5, social media makes bullying easier. It does, especially on YouTube. Social media makes bullying easier. The literature on how social media has affected bullying is staggering. In a recent study of this issue conducted by the Pew Research Center, a large majority of U.S. teens have reported that they have, at some point or another, been the victims of cyberbullying. Given the ease with which people can put thoughts and ideas out there using social media, putting this technology in the hands of teenagers seems, when you think about it, concerning at the very least. It's very concerning. It's much more difficult for teenagers to deal with it because they're less experienced in life. I've been through bullying for the last 3+ years on YouTube. And, it was very difficult even for me to deal with it initially, even though I've had all this life experience and I'm in my 40s. Now, I learned how to deal with it, and I can help you folks better handle it now because I've been through it. But cyberbullying is not easy for anyone of any age, but more difficult for teenagers because they have less life experience than us adults have. Unfortunately, cyberbullying often leads to issues of emotional and mental health and has, in multiple cases, played a substantial role in suicide. It has. Because when you're younger, you don't have the experience of how to deal with it. You don't have the experience of being able to just let things go. Just let it go. These are just people projecting. These are just people that are unhappy and miserable. And they're attacking you or us because, in essence, they perceive us as better than them, and they want to kick us down to their level. A lot of teenagers don't understand that because they haven't experienced life enough yet to be able to understand that. So yeah, it's sad when you see those suicides. It's really, really sad. Really sad. Such as the case of 13-year-old Ryan Halligan of Essex Junction, Vermont, I believe, which is BT, who was repeatedly and incessantly sent homophobic images by other teens via social media. Yeah, that's, it's really sad. It's really sad. Bullying at any age is really sad. But it is much more difficult to deal with when you're growing up as a preteen or a teenager. Because those are the most, challenging parts of your life because you're inexperienced, you're younger. You just want to be accepted. You just want to fit in. You just want to be cool with people. And when you have 1 or 2 or 3 or a group of people that are the school bullies, it makes it much more challenging to deal with. And now, bullying has gone from not only being on the playground or at school, it's gone online. So now you get bullied while you're at school, and then you go home and you're getting bullied online as well. And if you're not feeding into it, you got people that are making videos about you on YouTube. They're, posting memes about you on Facebook or wherever, or even on YouTube, and they're communicating with lots of other people through text messages and other messaging programs. And then the next day you go to school and you got to deal with everyone looking at you and laughing at you when you really have done nothing wrong. I get it. I get it. And if there's anyone out there that's going through this, if there's anyone out there that is going through this and being bullied, please reach out to me for help. I'd be happy to help you. I'd be happy to help you. All right, so I'm going to cue up some music here and take a quick 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. Give me just 1 second to find the right music. What songs do I want to play today? Let's see here. Okay. Let me see. One more. All right. We're all set to go, folks. All right. Going to take a quick 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. When we come back, I'm going to get through the second half of the list. So stick around. Do not go anywhere. Let's go to full screen first. We'll be right back. Yeah! Yeah, baby. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah! I'm feeling it again. I'm back. I'm feeling good. Are you feeling good today? Yeah. That's so good to feel better. I got to tell you, this pins and needles thing, this pinched nerve, man, what a pain in the ass to deal with. I got to tell you that, folks. Got to tell you that, but I'm getting better each and every day. So with that being said, welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube. Glad you could all join me here today. It is 1:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 10:27 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time in my neck of the woods here in the San Francisco Bay Area where I live. And today we are discussing another very interesting subject, how to best handle your online presence and has social media impacted our better decisions? I think it certainly has impacted our better decisions. I think we are flooded with so much information, and people have always wanted a lot of attention, but with the digital world, you're able to seek and get a ton of attention all at once. But what good is all that attention going to do you if it's not the right attention, or if you don't allow yourself to actually tone it down for a bit and settle down with a few people and enjoy life, right? A lot of attention seekers out in this world, and social media is a gold mine for those people, right? So it's just, in my opinion, it's just made this world such an interesting place. And once again, I'm going to refer to a quote by someone that I've been following for a while, a longtime entrepreneur that goes by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk, also known as Gary V. And he says that social media hasn't changed us, it's exposed us. Social media hasn't changed us, it has exposed us, and it certainly has. It certainly has. And it's exposed people that, have a lot of insecurities they need to work through. Because the good people like myself that come on social media looking to put out a positive message, looking to build a brand, looking to run a business, are being attacked by these people. These people project onto people like us. And it's not because they don't like us or they don't think we're doing a good job. It's because they wish they could be in a better place mentally and emotionally as we're in. And that's what I try to help people recognize out here and learn about to those that are actually open to it. So, all right, let me hit the chat here and then we'll get to the final 5 aspects of the blog. And then I know there are some people behind the scenes that that are messaging me in many different ways. And I want to get back to them. I will say that there are some pretty interesting things happening behind the scenes, and I'm keeping myself out of it. But yeah, Queen and Mutt and anyone that's close to me, if you folks want to know about what's going on behind the scenes, let me know through the private chat that we have going on Hangouts, and I will get with you folks later. But yeah, I'm thinking that finally some truth may actually come out regarding certain things that I've been involved with in the past. And whether it comes out or not, I really don't care. I've moved on. But yeah, let's just say some interesting things are transpiring, to say the least. All right, let's get back to the blog here. Let's see, where are we at? Go back to the browser screen. And let's go to number 6. I didn't scroll up. All right. There we are. Social media creates permanent records of just about everything. Right, social media creates permanent records of just about everything. I was saying that earlier. Do not put anything out there publicly or friends only or privately that you don't want the whole world to see. Just don't put it out there. Don't email someone that you feel you can trust with photographs of you that are very private. You know what I'm talking about. Under ancestral conditions, you could learn from your mistakes and simply move on. These days, mistakes are often recorded. Everything's recorded. Every time with this group I used to be involved with out here on YouTube, whenever I tried to reach out to them privately to make peace or try to work something out, they would record me and then they would make a stream out of it or a video out of it. It's pretty pathetic. The point of where, like, you don't know who to trust and not trust anymore. You don't know who's recording you and for what reason, right? So yes, social media does create permanent records of everything, of just not just about everything, of everything, about everything. In fact, just about everything seems to be recorded these days and then blasted out on social media because people are insecure and they want to get attention because people love drama. People love drama. People will focus more on the bad than the good. I'm going to try to teach you folks out here to focus more on the good and eliminate the bad. Of course, even to the best of us, a little bit of drama here and there. We're curious about what's going on, but just don't feed into it and don't become a part of contributing to it. It's pretty pathetic. When a fight breaks out in school these days, witnesses famously bust out their phones and start streaming the action instead of helping out. Right. Instead of trying to help resolve the issue, oh, this is an opportunity for me to get views on YouTube or for me to get views on Facebook or, get some likes and stuff, right? It's pathetic. And these videos then become permanent records of ugly situations that would be hard enough to forget and move past in the first place. Even if you remove that video, even if the platform removes it, whenever something like that goes public, even for a few minutes, people will download it and they have backup copies. And if it goes down, they will regurgitate it and blast it forever. Be very careful of what you put out there. Modern technologies give new meaning to the phrase, there is no escaping your past. It's very true. That's why, when Gary Vee says, social media is not changing us, it's exposing us. Why would you put out a video like that in the first place if you don't want people to expose it? Why would you put anything out there that you don't want people to expose? So be careful with what you put out there and you won't have this issue. Now, people may still, if they find pictures of you and your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever through Facebook or any other platform, they may still tease you on that. But all you have to do is ignore that and then just lock down your Facebook so they can't do it to you again. These people cannot do things to you that they don't have access to. So if you limit your access to them having this, and you learn how to better protect yourself, you're not going to be in this predicament. So be careful because everything is recorded. Everything is. Everything. Wherever you go, wherever you drive, there are cameras. Every store has a camera. There are cameras in our pockets with our cell phones. You have literally like a 90% chance of being recorded wherever you're at, regardless of what you do. All right, number 7. Oh boy, I've talked about this. I'll say it again. Cell phones are truly addicting. Think about the number of psychological reinforcers found on social media. People can make social connections. They can form romantic or even sexual relationships. Yeah, people do that on the phone. I've seen that happen on YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms. People will have these online romantic digital relationships. And I think to myself, what's that going to do? I can't snuggle up with somebody that is on the other side of a smartphone or a computer. I can't be intimate with them. I can't go hiking with them. Sure, I can send them pictures. We can video chat. But what good is that? And here's the thing. If you're doing that with someone and then all of a sudden you stop talking to them or you ignore them or block them, they're going to take all that stuff and blast it out there and make you look like a fool. Why would you put yourself in that predicament in the first place? They can receive excessive and instant praise and validation for all sorts of things and more. It's no wonder that research on the topic of cell phone addiction essentially shows that we're pretty much all crackheads when it comes to our cell phones and social media. Well, yeah, I can agree with that. I understand the analogy that Doc is using, and the bottom line is that I love the smartphone, and I'm accustomed to it. So if they got rid of smartphones and we went back to the way things were, it would kind of suck, right? But at the same time, I also know when to use my smartphone and when not to use it. Okay, I also know that, hey, if I'm going to go hiking with somebody like my activity partner, and we're on the trail, I'm not, even if I have reception, I'm not going to be on my smartphone. Now, I'll use my smartphone and a tracking app to track how many miles we've gone and to create our route for us, or to actually track our route, and to track the calories and all that. And that's no problem. That's a great way to use your cell phone. But if you're going to go out, and spend a day hiking in the woods, and even if you so happen to be, on a trail that has reception, during some parts, right? Why would you want to distract yourself from all that beauty? The point of getting out is to escape all of this for a little while, right? So yeah, cell phones are truly addicting. I think the doctor should have said smartphones, same thing. Cell phones, smartphones, they're all smartphones nowadays. All right, let me see here. What do we have going on in here? All right, so number 8. The natural world is suddenly less interesting than the virtual world is. The natural world is suddenly less interesting than the virtual world is? When has that ever been the case? The virtual world is made up of the natural world. Without the natural world, there'd be nothing to put out in the virtual world. But I get what the doc is saying. Seems like people are more focused about what's going on with the smartphone than, in the real world. Let me see here for a second. All right. When our kids were younger, my wife and I would try to take them out hiking with some regularity. I love hiking. It's an escape, and it keeps you in shape and all that. They weren't always into it. Kids aren't as into nature these days as they used to be, and for understandable reasons. I used to never be into hiking when I was younger. I just wanted to hang out with my friends and go to the pizza parlor and, play video games and do all that kind of stuff, right? As you get older and you realize how important your health is and how important it is to escape the day-to-day stuff, such as your job and other things, like hiking to me is my absolute most favorite thing to do. It is just my most favorite thing to do. I really enjoy it. It is my escape from, the craziness of the world that you deal with typically on Mondays through Fridays. And then you have that weekend to just, relax and escape, right? The virtual worlds found on cell phones and on other devices is simply dazzling in terms of reinforcing stimuli. And this is too bad because all the research on nature experiences suggests that being in nature is a foundational and necessary part of the human experience. That's because before everything was built out, it was all nature. Give me 1 second. I need to itch my nose. Wow, I haven't had such an itchy sensation in quite some time. And you know what happens when you're very itchy. It means something good is happening. It's good luck. Wow. So yeah, I mean, I love being in nature. And that's one thing I want to suggest for anyone that follows me. You know, if you're struggling with certain things, and you're just not feeling good about certain aspects of your life, go out and take a 3 or 4 mile hike. I suggest going with a partner because I don't like going out in the middle of the woods without anyone there. But even if you have no one else, you can find a shorter hike that is not as difficult to do, and get out there. You're going to release those endorphins. You're going to breathe in the fresh air, and you're going to feel that escape, and you're going to feel like you're actually doing something. Trust me. If you're not into hiking, go and do one hike, maybe 2 hikes. I guarantee you'll change your mind because you're going to feel amazing after that. All right, number 9. Social estrangements are made too easy on social media. Recent research from our lab has found that social estrangements, which exist when people define someone else as persona non grata or dead to them, wreak havoc on people's emotional and social worlds. Social worlds. Simply, the more estrangements someone reports to having, the more social and emotional difficulties that person is likely to encounter. Social media seems to be a breeding ground for social estrangements. All platforms have various ways to hide, unfriend, unfollow, and block others, of course. And if you need to do that, you go ahead and do that. A lot of weird things are happening out there. So, if you're following someone, and they start going a little wacky, and they start, posting you and posting about you in crazy ways, negative ways, and they start tagging you in negative ways, you got to block them. You got to remove that. So at least they can't tie your name into, what they're saying to you. They could put your name, but they can't tag you and make it easier for your friends that are following you to find you, right? So you got to be careful with that. Interestingly, these features are regularly used by mature adults as well as teens. Yeah, that's what happens out here on YouTube and other platforms too. I'm more so seeing adults in their 30s, 40s, and 50s behave worse than teenagers online. It's not all of them, it's a lot of them, right? There are a lot of people that are struggling and are going through a lot of things, even in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And rather than reaching out for help and trying to better themselves, they come out and they wreak havoc on the internet. And it's pretty pathetic. I can understand teenagers doing it because they're inexperienced. But for grown-ass adults, it's pathetic. It really is. It really is. Just as social media makes all kinds of social interactions more accessible, the cutoff is now a more accessible option than has ever been the case. On one hand, it is probably good to cut toxic people out of one's life. But on the other hand, social media is likely increasing the degree to which people are exercising this option, perhaps leading people to, on average, have more estrangements than would have been the case years ago. Yeah, again, the digital world allows people to do things that they once weren't able to do, or at least as easily able to do. And so, if you're dealing with people like this, you just got to cut them off. You got to unfollow them. You got to block them. You got to move forward. Recently I had to block some people from my Facebook that I've known for over 10 years that, I used to associate with for one reason or another. I'm not going to get too specific about it. These are people that I once trusted. These are people that I once, did things with. I'm not going to share the specific things with these people, about these people. But I had to get rid of them. And these people know a lot of people, and they know a lot of the same people that I know. And I said, you know what? I don't care if I get backlash for it or not, because I just don't want this negativity out there. And if they're going to continue talking negatively about me, I don't want them to be able to tag me in the negative stuff, right? And you want to know what the funny thing is? When I blocked these people, nobody questioned it. The funny thing is that when someone starts misbehaving and acting a different way to you, that's who they are, and that's how they probably treated these other people. So the people that, probably saw this understood what happened. Okay? And for the people that don't understand it, then, they're in the same position as the, initial culprit that was doing this, right? That got them blocked, right? So that is that. All right, let's go to number 10 and wrap this up. People can deceive in the domain of mating like never before. Social media has had ubiquitous effects in the realm of mating, and in this realm, where self-presentation is foundational, deception and exaggeration are more possible than has ever been the case. There are a lot of people on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter that exaggerate things, that make things up. More so out here on YouTube because people are doing crazy things and whatever it takes to get YouTube traction, to penetrate the YouTube algorithm and to make money, right? So you got to be real careful with, who you believe and who you don't believe, okay? There are many deceptive people that exaggerate because that's, all they think they have. Instead of these people creating real content or being themselves or doing something ethical, they, push the lines of what's ethical and unethical because that's the way they feel they can get attention. It's pretty pathetic, to be honest with you. It's pretty pathetic. Yeah, a lot of people are messaging me behind the scenes. Wow. All I have to say is to these people that are messaging me behind the scenes, I've got great intuition, don't I? Oh boy. My intuition's spot on. Under ancestral conditions, people met potential mates in person. That's right. Seeing them as they actually are and listening to spontaneous and largely unprepared introductions. Right. Today we have dating profiles. We could sit there for an hour or two and write the perfect profile, put the perfect pictures, put pictures of us that are 10 years old to catfish people, right? But back in the days, you couldn't do that. You had to show up in person. Damn, my nose is still itching. The more it itches, the more greatness is happening today. This has been an interesting day, I gotta say. Wow. These days, you can find the best photo of yourself that has ever been taken. I just said that. You can put the best photo of you online, or the best photos, right? And you meet in person, that person's like, is that you? Is that you? Oh, yeah, who do you think it is? Well, that's not the person I saw in the pictures, right? And then use some filter from Snapchat to make yourself look even better. Catfish Central, right? You can write your introduction for your dating profile over a number of days. I just said that. Editing it carefully and asking for input from friends. Right. Is that who you really are, or is that who your friends think you should be? And if they help you write that profile and then you talk to that person by phone or meet in person, are you going to be able to be the same way as your profile was written? People are intuitive. They're gonna see the mismatch, and you're going to be done. And well, heck, you can downright lie about yourself to make yourself appear as better than you actually are. And yes, this has been known to happen. It's called catfishing, brother. While self-enhancing self-presentation has probably always been an issue in the mating domain for humans, modern-day social media and related technologies bring the ability to deceive in a mating context to an entirely new level. Yeah, it has. That's why when you see women bending over and showing a little cleavage or doing the side angle shot, so that way they don't show their big stomach, they just show their big butt that guys like, right? No one's deceiving anyone there. We know why you're doing that. Why else would you do that if you didn't have to do that to get attention, right? Bottom line, while social media technologies have led to all kinds of positive outcomes, such as families being reunited or friends coming together to build pro-social organizations across geographical boundaries, when it comes to the effects on our modern world, social media has a dark side, a very dark side. In short, social media has the capacity to bring out the worst in humans, such as bullying, betrayal, hate, and estrangement, and more. Yeah, I have dealt with all of that myself, at least over the last 3.5 years on YouTube. And I'm a good guy. I'm the nicest guy in the world. I love people. I have a positive attitude. I don't deserve any of this, but that's how some people are. And I just learned how to ignore it and how to move past it. And that's what I can help you learn and move past as well. When it comes to technological evolution, there seems to be only one direction. There truly is no stopping progress. Hopefully, as we move forward into this new world, people take the time to understand our evolved nature and, along the way, develop methods to ameliorate the adverse effects of social media on the human experience. Listen, folks, let me do this. Let me move back to full screen. Let me move back to full screen. I've already gotten there. And let me just reset this browser here for the next time. Let me check out the chat also real quick. I said real quick. Listen, folks, I think the digital world is a phenomenal technological advancement that we're blessed to have, that prior generations didn't have. It has tremendously helped ease many aspects of our life or our lives. But at the same time, it has also brought out the bad sides of people even at a greater level. It is much easier for people to get away with doing things online than offline. A lot of people that have a lot of issues will go online because that's where they can, get away with, wreaking havoc and, in a safe place to do it, most of the times anonymously. My best advice to each and every one of you is not to remove yourself from social media, but go through your social media, make sure that you have your privacy settings set properly. Maybe on Facebook, like I said, by default, set your postings to friends only. And then all the postings you make about, your relationships or your family and stuff, keep that to friends only and only connect with people you trust. And if someone betrays your trust, remove them as a friend immediately. Unfriend them, block them, right? And then the only things you want to put publicly, for example, if you're a YouTuber or you're on a different platform, you can share that publicly because people can find you on those platforms publicly as well. Okay, you just got to do a better job of managing your privacy settings and also not putting anything out there, privately, friends only, or publicly that you wouldn't want the whole world to see. That's my best advice for that. And one other thing, I keep saying this time and time again, and this really is not directly tied in with the topic, but also safeguard all your social media accounts. Okay? Use a very strong password with uppercase and lowercase letters. Use symbols as well. Use numbers. You want to make it as difficult as possible for someone to figure out your password. Then you also want to activate 2FA, which stands for two-factor authentication, and in some places they call it 2SV, two-step verification. It's the same thing. You want to enable two-step verification or two-factor authentication on anything that allows you to do so. And most websites offer, two-step, two-factor verification. That way, if somebody does happen to get your password, has your username and your password, then, it will send your phone a text message with a 6-digit code that they have a few minutes to enter. And if they can't figure out that 6-digit code, then they can't access your account. Protect yourselves as best as possible, folks. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy or perfect, but it'll minimize the crap that you have to deal with. And that's where I'm going to end this stream today at 1 hour and 47 minutes. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you to Queen Helen Casey. Thank you to Mutt Nuts World. And thank you to everyone else that was watching and not chatting in the chat. Folks, I might be back for a second stream later this evening, but if not, I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day off. I have to check in with some people behind the scenes and see what's going on. And if I am up to it later tonight, I'll do another stream. If not, I'll be back tomorrow at some point for another stream. As a matter of fact, I've also decided to, just so Queen and Mutt knows, I've decided to cancel, at least for the time being, the stream on trolls. I just don't feel it's necessary to do it right now. If it's necessary to do it in the future, we'll revisit it back then. But just letting you ladies know that as of this point, that stream has been canceled, at least for the time being, or preempted. All right? Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. We're out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.